Hey there, fellow Beyonders. How are you all doing? You all having a great time at the Beyond? I hope you are, because you guys deserve it. Hellbent has recently released the latest DevNotes 8.13 with new feedback, updates on the Be Kind Rerun program, and information new content. We'll dive into all this, but first thing we're going to dive into is the new content. Why? Because I've been breaking it a bit down in my spare time, and I want to kind of share everything I found with you guys. So, when it comes to new content, we already know that Reggie's coming into the game, and we've had hints that Deathwire is also coming in as well. Here, as you can see, they have an important message from not Hellbent Games, because this is scratched out. It's from the Beyond, most likely, but they also released a trailer for Reggie, which we're going to check out here. But first thing I want to do, I want to translate all this for you guys, so this way you guys can see what this all says. So we're going to go inside of here, copy paste that. And then we'll also copy paste this as well. And inside the trailer is also some binary that will translate as well too. We'll get into that when we're actually inside the trailer. As you can see, inside the dev notes, it says, "I am the star, the show is mine, he is mine." Clearly, when referring to he is mine, he's referring to Reggie inside of the Beyond. And I have to imagine that because it's binary and because of what the trailer shows, that this is Deathwire talking to us through the Beyond. So he's the star of his own show. He's apparently a little bit jealous of the rest of the cast and wants to be the star again, potentially. And he's gonna make sure he's the star. So let's dive into the trailer. Let's watch this bad boy here. There's our boy Reggie, gotta love him. Him and his beautiful blue jacket. Right there. So at 0.10 seconds, it translates into initializing procedure, get hijacked. Right here at 13 seconds, it translates into upstaging target. And his video card here, I tried deciphering this. It was a little bit blurry. I wasn't able to get a high quality picture. If someone can get a high quality picture, you're more than welcome to send it to me, and then I could translate up here. But down here translates into Reggie. Right here at 14 seconds, it translates into stealing moment up here. Right there. Okay. So at 23 seconds, this whole bit here translates into commencing action. And with the grid and everything and the kind of like Terminator looking setup that it's got going whenever this binary pops up on the screen, it really has me thinking that this is going to be Deathwire and that he's going to be the next monster for our favorite game called Video Horror Society. But yeah, that's pretty much a trailer. That's pretty much breaking it down. Oh, we don't need to click on any of those things. What I'm really interested to see is what the map is going to be. Because of the fact that we know Deathwire is coming in and he's a robot, I would have initially expected to be something robotic, but this bit here, I am the star, the show is mine, that really kind of makes me feel like it's going to be something involving a movie set. Maybe Deathwire was the star of a movie or something like that, because you know all the monsters came from movies and they are the star of their movie. Maybe it's going to be something based around a movie set and like a movie production or something like that. I don't know, but I could see it being a movie set, maybe like an 80s robotic thing or a futuristic kind of setting, something like that, you know. But yeah, this is pretty cool. It's pretty exciting that all the stuff that's coming into the game. So let's check out the dev notes and go over that here really quick. I'll have linked in the description to the dev notes so you can read through all this, but we're just going to get into the feedback and issues and whatnot. So top feedback and issues. There's nothing more frustrating than winning a long matchmaking queue, only to join a game where someone DCs, or you end up playing a 3-minute game because you're still learning how to play, or you load into a dead lobby. It feels bad and we don't want our players to consistently experience that. There are two types of data that we're looking at so we can address these concerns. Quantitative, raw numbers, aka what our data is showing us. Are players more affected if they are solo queuing or in a party? How many monsters are playing versus how many teams? Are there underlying matchmaking issues and bugs that are visible on surface level? Qualitative, feedback from our community, aka what our players are showing us. Difficulty of onboarding and tutorials, monster feeling less fun to engage with. On the quantitative side, we're in the process of adding code to our game that provide us with additional data that shows us a clear picture of any factors that could be causing extended queue times or backfill issues. We made some progress on fixing some queue related issues, but this data will help us pinpoint exactly how to address those technical bugs with dead lobbies and matchmaking, as well as giving us insight down the line as things change. This doesn't mean that they're currently working on ways to improve matchmaking queues. It just means that matchmaking is an element that we will continuously be working on through the lifespan of the game. It's kind of par for the course. Most games, whenever they have matchmaking is something that's constantly being worked on and developed and whatnot, improved. So it's kind of par for the course when it comes to this bit. They're also looking into increasing the DC penalty in an effort to discourage players from leaving a match before they've been down/defeated or by leaving a full lobby. However, if you leave a lobby of less than 5 players or after you've been down/defeated, you won't be affected with a DC penalty. This is only going to happen if, let's say, you load into the match with 5 people, the match is queuing up, ready to start, and then you DC. Then you're getting hit with that DC penalty. Or you load inside of a game, you're feeling pretty bad, you're losing, and the monster's just on a bunch of people, or you're playing as a monster and you're losing stigmas really quick and you decide just to leave, then you'll get a DC penalty. So, on the qualitative data side, let's talk about the monster gameplay experience. This is something that a lot of people have been talking about inside the Discord and Twitter and whatnot. While playing monster is fun, it doesn't feel as good as playing team. It's been a big stressing point inside the Discord and whatnot, and Twitter, basically over social media when it comes to this game. So it seems like from here, they're talking about how to make monster feel more occasionally less stressful. These are some changes that are proposed, but they're not set in happening. The dynamic bounty system. This is something that we've already seen inside the game. If we go take a look here, the increased XP for playing specific characters, or in this case, a specific role. About potentially increasing it, adjusting it. Really what this section just goes over is like, hey, like, you know, if there's a short of monsters at a certain MMR, we're going to increase the bounty. If there's a short of monsters at all, we'll increase the bounty. That kind of stuff. So you'll expect to see that be happening. It's this system, as they acknowledge here, is probably going to affect monsters more than teens, because usually there's gonna be more monster players. More team players than monster players. The end of game sequence changes is what they're talking. So you know how at the end of the game you have that title card that shows like, okay, you got this many stigmas, this is the amount of points you got, here are the players that played in the match, that kind of thing. What they're talking about doing with that is new music for when winning or losing the match. So when you win the match or lose the match, you get some different music on that title card / end of the game in general. New equip slots for both teams and monster to play celebratory emote sequence at the end of the match. After you down the last teen on the monster side, or on the teen side, you get the last segment of the monster. You just have that death animation, and then that's it. Your character just kind of stands still during that. So they're talking about including a celebratory emote slot, so this way you can play an emote at the end of the match as well, which I feel like is a really good change. It'd be really fun. And the commendation system for both factions provide a way to complement your teammates and opponents based on your experience in the match. This part's really interesting to me. Bonus points may also be rewarded based on commendations received. I kind of like that. The better you play and the more commendations you receive, the more experience you can get from receiving commendations. Like people being like, yeah, like, you know, he was a really good teammate. Boom, you get an extra 500 XP because you're a good teammate. That really incentivizes people to play well and play cooperatively instead of just slinking off into a corner and pulling a Dwight from DBD and hiding in a locker all match or something like that. So I kind of like these changes. If they decide to go for these, I think this would be really good. Anyone that's played Monster knows how it feels when you down a team and they're dead, and then they immediately get revived with the Book of the Dead because the teens found the Book of the Dead at the start of the match. It doesn't feel great. So the Book of the Dead changes they're primarily talking about is making it so the Book of the Dead doesn't spawn in until a teen dies inside the match. This prevents teens from early on in the game noticing the Book of the Dead and immediately grabbing it. Now the next big change you're talking about, as well as doing banishment changes, I'm not quite sure how I feel about this one. I feel like this one would have to be put into effect so this way I could see how it feels. You have to let me know what your thoughts are on it as well. It's definitely interesting. Basically, to kind of summarize this, after becoming banished, all power cooldowns will refresh. So this means that as the monster, when you're banished, if you use a howl before you get banished, your howl will be immediately back up. I feel like that's a really good change because it keeps the momentum going on the monster side. This one, not sure about. While the monster is banished, teens will not be able to craft or charge weapons. Teens can still perform other actions such as reviving, healing, searching, vending machines, etc. during this period. I'm not quite positive on that one. I don't feel like not being able to craft or charge weapons is the best way to go about it, especially if they're going to implement this. Increasing the duration of banishment, I feel like if you're going to make it so teens can't craft or charge weapons, then that's probably not the best bet. And then creating a scream shockwave at the point where the monster returns from being banished. This will give the monster player a period of empowerment and safety upon the return. This is a good change, so this way the monster can't just spawn in and then immediately lose Neurastigma. I like this idea. However, if you're going to do this, I think you should allow the teens to craft or charge weapons and give them an opportunity to get that up and running on their end as well. I feel like that's something that would be a healthy change. Plague system change. Every monster player knows that when you bring a plague into a match, you have to use the prize slot. I mean, you can't bring in a point boost or something like that, which, let's be honest, point boosts are really, really helpful in this game, especially because the grind in the monster side can be a bit much at times. And I should say the grind in general for a character. You gotta get them to what, level 70 something to unlock their complete journey? I'd have to double check into that, but the plague systems they're talking about is, we like this dimension that adds to monster gameplay. However, since it requires the use of a prize slot, it is not factored in the majority of games. It does not feel like a core mechanic. With this rework, plagues can always be factored in game whether or not the monster chooses to bring a plague prize. Instead of the plague recharge mechanic, whenever a monster does not currently have a plague, they would be able to work towards one by achieving a certain number of hits on teens. So essentially, you could, let's say the bar is like 20 hits. You could do 20 hits on the teens, and then you can get a random plague, because you'll be able to reach into Beyond, use the plague button, and retrieve one, and it's going to be randomized. And I think this is kind of a healthy change. It's going to make plagues a little bit more often, but they acknowledge that if plagues are more often and more common, they're going to have to rebalance them accordingly. Alright, this change as well, new status effect, Busted. I feel like, I'm not sure on it. We'll go over it and let me know what you guys think. Our teen health state system was designed such that teens can always have a chance to survive so long as they can keep the monster from getting enraged and keeping themselves healed up. In majority games, this system works well. However, a pain point for monsters are the times when teens just won't seem to die no matter how many times they're hit. To help prevent these very long matches and monster exhaustion, we will soon be adding a status effect to the game, Busted. Teens will gain the Busted status for the remainder of the match after receiving 6 hits. Resurrection will not reset the status. When busted, an injured teen can no longer be healed by other teens, nor can they use the medkits. There's still one way to heal, however. The unpowered, holy status, miraculous powers are strong enough to overcome this affliction and will work as normal. In addition, busted teens will have a unique health status indicator on the HUD and leave differently colored trails of chromatic aberration. That's the little shiny footsteps on the ground when a teen is injured. We feel this change will put a cap on the total amount of hits the teen team can sustain before they are defeated and give the monster a more satisfying sense of progress towards winning the match with each hit. Naturally, be monitoring the impact of a change like this has in game balance carefully. I feel like this is one of those changes where it has to go into the game before I personally would know how I feel about it and I have to experience it and whatnot. That's just me though. I do like the idea of being busted and not being able to heal up anymore without using the weapon, and having the staff weapon being the one to heal because it's the only weapon in the game that can heal somebody. I feel like that is potentially a good idea, but it's one of those things where we just have to see how it goes. Here they just go over a bunch of cosmetic issues that are fixed, update on the Be Kind and Rewind creator program. They've had a lot of applications. They're going to be looking into people now that the rewind/X dev playtest builds are fixed up and running. But this is an important change here for everyone that sent in an application. In order to protect your privacy, we will only be holding on to the application info for 6 months. So if you haven't heard back in 6 months, apply again. So I applied as soon as the application came out. So I'm just gonna keep a counter inside my head for 6 months from now, and if I don't hear anything back, I'll send an application back out again. I recommend all the other people that are applying as well to do the same thing. Advertising and marketing. There's been a lot of talk in Discord about how they should really advertise and market this game a little bit more. They acknowledge that, you know, they haven't done so much advertising marketing on their end, that the majority of players who have discovered Video Horror Society have done stuff through word of mouth and through content creators, but they also acknowledge that before they start heavy advertising this game and trying to get it out there in the public as much as possible, they want to fix as many issues as possible beforehand, so this way everybody has really good experience coming into it. So like a good example of that is the tutorial, because let's be honest, the new player experience and the onboarding experience in this game is not the best it could potentially be. There's definitely some kinks that could be worked out there to help make the transition from not knowing this game to knowing how to play a lot easier on the teen and monster side. So fixing something like that before introducing it to the public and before doing some heavy advertising would potentially be a really good idea. They also have some new content as well. We all know how the VHS store likes to rotate. If we take a look here, this has 6 hours until all this stuff is gone, which reminds me I gotta try and get Snake. I have to try and snag some of this before it disappears, which, you know, it's fun is probably the best way to put it when it comes to the store. But they're gonna come out with an endless summer catalog. So inside the store, there's going to be a section, I don't know how it's gonna appear, but potentially maybe like over here, kind of like how the free Pride Bundle and the Founders Pack does inside this little rotating section, where it's gonna be endless summer catalog, and you'll be able to, it will never go away, at least not for a while, and you'll be able to buy as much as you possibly want from there until it disappears on, let's see, they have a date on here, until September 21st. So on September 21st, the section will disappear, and then we won't be able to buy stuff from there anymore. I do like that idea of having, like, you know, winter, like, season-long stuff, so this way people can continually go back and purchase those cosmetics. But here's a quick little peek at them. They're very cute. I like them. They're very adorable. I really like this one. Sharkwort. I love him. He's adorable. Look at this guy. Look at him. He's so beautiful. I need to get that. I feel like this is gonna be majority of players. But yeah, that's pretty much all the changes and new content that's coming out, whatnot. Let me know what you guys think. I think that some of these changes are really good. I'm kind of iffy on some of them, but you know, if it comes out, we'll get used to it and survive and whatnot and play, and I'm still gonna enjoy this game as much as it already happened. I mean, if you take a look, my chest is level 70, my Leo's level 45. I'm trying to work on his perks right now. I'm gonna switch over to Brett and work on him, but I've clearly been enjoying this game quite a bit. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this video and, like, you know, kind of breaking down the Reggie trailer and the dev notes and whatnot. And you guys have lovely days, all right? Peace out, guys.